afternoon. What a great looking crowd. I got the privilege to work with our city manager, Chris Garrett, for the past 18 years. He's been a great mentor and, more importantly, a really good friend. Chris was appointed city manager of the city of Owasso in Oklahoma in March 2024. He entered the position having held the position of assistant city manager for 7 years, fire chief and deputy chief for the 10 years prior. Chris entered his career in public service in 1976 as a volunteer firefighter and began his professional service career with the city of Richmond, Virginia in 1982, where he rose through the ranks and retired in 2006 as the fire department's executive officer after almost 25 years of service. Chris holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Everett University, a master's degree in fire and emergency management administration from Oklahoma State University, and is a graduate of the National Fire Academy's Executive Fire Officer Program. He serves as chair of the board of directors for Bailey Medical Center, is an advisory board member for the Tulsa Community College, and a member of the National Fire Protection Association Technical Committee on Fire Service, Occupational Safety, and Health. Chris has lectured at the local, state, and national level on safety and leadership issues, and has served as an adjunct instructor for the National Fire Academy. He is a member of several professional organizations, including the International City/County Managers Association, City Managers Association of Oklahoma, and the National Fire Protection Association. Chris is married to Valerie, has 5 daughters, 18 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for that introduction too, by the way, David. It's my pleasure to be here. You know, my bio sometimes catches people a little bit off guard, particularly when you get to the end right there. It catches them a little by surprise. And so, because of that, I try watching people's faces when it's finishing up. And some people, they just have that expression of, I can't believe that. And many of you had that same thing. I was watching. Many of you had that same expression. And I've heard it before, so I know actually exactly what everybody's thinking. You're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, you look so young. But it's true. I have actually lectured nationally. So that's just crazy, right? Yeah, I was just making a part of that, looking so young. They haven't told me that in 60 years. So. But what a great day to be alive! What a great day to be living in Owasso, Oklahoma, isn't it? It is indeed. It is indeed. So it's my honor, it's my privilege to be standing here today as your city manager, presenting the 2024 State of the City. And talking about Owasso always makes me happy. It just gives me a lot of joy, and I hope at some part of this presentation will kind of bring you that joy as well. Before I dive into some of the details of the presentation, I do want to take the opportunity to publicly thank some of the people for this moment. First, I want to thank the Chamber and Chelsea, the Chamber Board, for providing this platform once again this year, every year, for the city to be able to communicate where we are and where we're going. So thank you very much. Next, I would like to thank City Council for entrusting me with the welfare of this community. That's a big responsibility, and I take it very seriously, I assure you. I also want to thank you both who are in here for your support during the transition of leadership. It meant a lot to me, and I appreciate it. I also want to thank city staff for your dedication to this community, for your commitment to our mission, and for bringing your A game every day you come to work. I want to take this opportunity to thank my wife, Valerie, who can't be here, for always believing in me, even even when it involves brutal honesty, which he is never shy about offering. But lastly, I thank God for putting me here today, because I know in my heart that I would not be here otherwise. So again, it is my it's my honor to serve this community as city manager. And I'm going to talk today about some city operations, about city staff. We'll talk a little bit about where we are as a city, where we're going as a city. But the first thing I want to do is to introduce myself to you, because if you haven't noticed, I'm not the same guy who was up here last year. Okay, you got the more handsome version. So, sorry, Warren, where are you? Sorry, buddy. But I do think it's important that you know who's leading your city team. So I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to give you the speed dating version of who I am. Highlights of 63 years in 3 minutes. Ish. So I'll open with this. I'm not from around here. If you have ever heard me pronounce the common word for H2O, you would already know that. I was born in Virginia. I'm an Army brat. My father was a helicopter pilot in the Army. He proudly served for 20 years, including 2 tours in Vietnam before retiring and then going to work for the Department of the Army, yet again as civil service for another 20 years. My mother was a church pianist and a talented one at that. She was also the Supreme Allied Commander of the Garrett household, and that was uncontested, I assure you. My father would eventually retire. My mother held those posts until the day she died. I lived much of my early life on Army bases, Alaska, Texas, New Jersey, Alabama, Georgia, and then finally Virginia, where we'd settle down, I would grow up, and that was where I would spend much of my adult life. As a kid, I played most sports, enjoyed playing sports a lot. Didn't have the skill to play varsity, so it was all city programs, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Had a great time doing it. Was heavily involved in the Boy Scouts, and even as a young kid, I believed that rules were meant to be followed. It was just everything I did seemed to be built around rules, and just kind of fast forward to today, I still believe that. So by the time I was 10, I knew what I wanted to do in life. I knew I wanted to be a firefighter. And in 1976, on the day I turned 15, I joined the local volunteer fire department, and that really set me on my path for public service. Anchovy pizza is my favorite pizza in the world. I believe that garlic is a gift from heaven. And to this day, I honestly cannot figure out why God put beets on this planet. I enjoy listening to Elvis Presley as much as I enjoy Elvis Costello. I enjoy watching a Hallmark Christmas movie almost as much as The Godfather. My dance moves resemble Elaine's from Seinfeld. I appreciate all Seinfeld fans. I'm a humble winner, but I am a terribly sore loser. So my family figured that out about 8. All card games, all board games just stopped at that point. And according to my children, I am not nearly as funny as I think I am. But they're basing that off of dad jokes. So in all honesty, it's kind of unfair. You see, each of us is who we are today. We are because of 3 things. Because of nature, because of nurture, and because of choice. How we were raised, DNA. DNA really establishes how we're wired. That's the nature piece. How we were raised, how we were influenced by the people around us, growing up, shaped us, and that's the nurture piece. And then all through life, we've made choices, and those choices come with consequences, outcomes, and all of those have given us experience, and hopefully we've used that experience to be a bit wiser and be able to move through life a little better. As of today, because of nature, nurture, and choice, I am someone who values people over projects, believes in responsibility and accountability, gets excited about new things, but will not move forward until the details have been addressed. I think the greatest ideas and the best solutions come through collaboration, and I value the input and the effort of every stakeholder. So why does any of this matter? That is a valid question. Why does any of it matter? Because it matters because the position of city manager, whoever that is, today that's me, but whoever that is responsible for a team that makes this city function 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It matters because this position either sets public policy or influences public policy that impacts every single person in this room. And that's pretty critical. And it matters today to me. I think it matters because I believe that you deserve to know who I am and what you can expect from my leadership. So now that we've met, I want to brag on city staff, the city team, your team, actually. The City of Owasso has just over 300 full-time employees. These public servants are incredibly talented in their respective field of endeavor. While talent on its own merit may carry the day in a lot of organizations, our team members, I believe, have several factors that set them apart from others. Factors that really maximize their collective impact on the community. And I want to mention three of them as quickly as I can today. It's mission, it's performance, and it's cooperation. First, they understand and fully embrace the city's mission of removing obstacles standing in the way of people celebrating their lives. Okay? They get it, they know what it means, and they know what it looks like when those words are converted into actions. Each employee, each public servant, knows that if necessary, they are empowered to make decisions and to take whatever action is necessary in support of that mission. Okay? And management is there to support them in that endeavor. So here's a quick story. A few months back, Public Works sent, I think about half dozen people to an out-of-town training. And at this out-of-town training, the instructor asked the entire group, who's read their organization's mission statement? And all of ours raised their hand, as you would expect. And then the instructor asked, well, who can recite it from memory? And one person on our team raised their hand and was able to recite it word for word from memory. And the instructor goes, all my years of teaching, that's never actually happened. He was surprised by that. That doesn't surprise me a bit. And actually, if you know the team, it shouldn't surprise you a bit either. Second is performance. The team accepts that our expectations are higher than they are in most other organizations. I don't mean to degrade other organizations. I just mean that we look at things a little differently. For decades, and I think everybody in here will agree with this, for decades, the public opinion of government employees and government work has been less than favorable, I would say, to be able to phrase it that way. And I'm sure many people in this room have heard performance or the quality of work characterized as being close enough for government work. Okay? It's okay to laugh because I've said it too. So, in 47 years in government, I've said it too. But in reality, that may have been so decades ago or years ago. But when you come down and look at this city team, that couldn't be farther from the case. It's out of touch because of what this team does and how well they do it. And I am impressed with this team every single day. So our employees are told from day one when they come in that the level of performance and work quality viewed as exceptional in most other organizations is just what we expect every day. It's a support challenge kind of thing. We support them well, but that is the challenge that goes along with it. So, for us, it's just a part of the work culture. Honestly, in our organization, there's nowhere for a slacker to hide because they just stick out like a sore thumb. What your team knows, honestly, is to be all in. And that's what they do every day. The third thing was cooperation. And cooperation across departments. For us, that's organic. That occurs naturally, and that happened long before I got here. That was the case long before I got here. So that is just what we do. But I'm sure in dealings with other organizations, you may have experienced the proverbial red tape, the red tape of bureaucracy. In many organizations, the lack of cooperation between the internal teams is what bogs down their success. It's what limits their efficiency and their effectiveness. So from our perspective, from the city's perspective, if we're going to exercise responsiveness, which is one of our core values, then our operational framework has to include cooperation, and it has to embrace or encourage collaboration. There are many factors that kind of make a team successful. Ours is no different, but there's one thing I do want you to go away with today, and know that staff puts in a lot of time to try and find an effort, to try and find the right people to serve this community. We look at not only character and competence when we're hiring, which these days everybody does, because certainly you want to make sure that they have the right knowledge, skills, and abilities, and they're the right person for your organization. But we look at chemistry and culture as well, because we want to make sure they're the right fit for the organization and they're the right fit for the team that they're going to be on. The thing is, we believe that this community deserves the best, and we want to give the best. So it doesn't matter whether it's full-time, part-time, or seasonal. We approach it the exact same way. It's really kind of tough for me to put in words it's really tough for me to explain to everybody just what they mean to me, what they mean to this community, and just how well they do their job every day. So at this time, I'm actually going to ask city staff if you would stand for a second, and I'm going to ask everybody else if you would help me please recognize city staff. City staff, stand please. Thank you, everyone, for helping me with that. Thank you, staff. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, let's look at what's happened over the year, and then we'll take a look at what's in front of us. In 2024, Owasso has enjoyed the opening of new businesses and the expansion of existing businesses in the Redbud District, the 86th Street corridor, Smith Farm, and the 96th Street corridor, and the Garrett Creek area. These have included restaurants, retail, personal services, professional services, and even entertainment-related businesses. So as we ease into 2025, that's just even hard to say, isn't it? As we ease into 2025, Owasso anticipates the opening of several other businesses at locations across the city. With residential development ongoing, the opportunities for a new commercial development are readily available. We believe from the city that the completion of 116th Street North widening and the Morrow Sanitary Sewer extension to the east of 169 is making the northern part of Owasso very attractive to developers. Uh, 2024 has been a busy year for city projects as well. Some of the facility and infrastructure projects that were completed this year include the 24-hour recycle center, which now offers more flexibility to our citizens and has been heavily used since the very day it opened. Fire Station 1 and Fire Station 2 renovations, Fire Station 2 including the Emergency Operations Center downstairs, was completed a few months back, a long project, but this work should actually add 20 to 25 years of life to those facilities. 116th Street north from Mingo to Garnett, which includes the intersection of Mingo and Garnett, and a controlled entrance right there at the sports park, has improved traffic flow already. It was completed a couple of months ago, And then 116th Street north from Garnett to 129th was completed right after the first of the year. 96th Street north from 169 to 129th, including the intersection, literally finished up the day before Thanksgiving. They were working hard to get it there. The Garnett Road Culvert Project was necessary to provide some additional flow of stormwater from the east side of Garnett over to the west side. Elm Creek Sanitary Sewer Line was rehabilitated due to its age and condition. It was pretty vulnerable, so that was another great project that needed to get done. At Hale Acres, the water line replacement, Phase 2, we completed that as part of the effort to address the infrastructure needs in that particular neighborhood. We're hoping to be able to get the rest of the water line done in Phase 3, but that looks doubtful. It depends on the available funding at that point. All 16 storm sirens were replaced this year, and an additional storm siren was installed next to Stone Canyon Elementary School. We constructed a multi-purpose building and a shoot house at the police department's firing range, which should complete the major needs for that particular training facility. And then we did construct pickleball courts on the old basketball courts there at Rayola Park, and from what everybody is telling me, I'm not a pickleballer, but from what everybody is telling me, they are busy pretty much every day of the week. So that actually completes the ones that we finished up this year, that we completed this year, and that actually represents $38 million worth of public investment. Okay, projects that are in play currently. So here are going to be projects, anything that is currently in design or even getting ready to finish construction, and anything in between. So the new Public Works facility, we broke ground on that a couple of months ago. They're currently working on the civil part of that particular project. It's about a 16-month build, so looking for that to open in very early of 2026. We're replacing 20-year-old playground equipment at Centennial Park. This will replace the playground equipment on the northeast side of the park, which is there next to just south of 91st Street. For the Ranch Creek Interceptor, we needed additional capacity on that side of town, so it required an upgrade from 15 to 24 inch on that particular interceptor, and that project is about halfway done. Morrow Sanitary Sewer Line Extension. This is being extended to facilitate growth in the area we talked about before, the area around Highway 20 and east of 169. Main Street improvements. I promise that is coming to an end soon. Really, I promise it is. If it isn't, I'm going to blame Roger and Dwayne. But right now, they're finishing up a couple of things and should be wrapping up hopefully next month in January. The intersection of 129th and 106th, another one of those projects that's been around for a while just due to some issues. Utility relocation is underway on that project, and they should be done with utility relocation around June, and we'll put it out to bid for construction shortly thereafter. 2024 street rehab projects are under construction now. Currently, they're working in the Young Creek neighborhood. Mingo Road improvements from 96th to 116th Street is a cooperative effort between the city and Tulsa County. It's been delayed for one reason or another from both sides, but that project should be under construction if everything goes as planned in January. New Parks Office, right now they're currently operating out of that small house next to Fire Station 3 on 145th. So the New Parks Office is going to be located in the middle of the sports park, and that is ready to go out to bid right after the holidays. Garnett widening, from 106 to 116th. That project's going out to bid in January as well, and we are looking for construction to start in the spring. 96th Street North, around the Smith Farm area, there to the west of 169. Again, this one is ready to go out to bid. It'll go out to bid in January, and like a Garnet Road should be under construction in the spring. The intersection of 96th and 145th, we have just secured all of the right-of-way for that one, so utility relocation should start first of the year, probably around the 1st of February. 96th Street North widening between 134th and 145th. They're starting at First Baptist and going down east to 145th. Right now we're doing right-of-way negotiations with property owners now, so I don't really have a timeline moving forward on that. Ranch Creek Trail, here's a project we're actually really excited about. The trail is in design. We intend for the project to include some paved trails, some natural trails as well. The actual scope of the project right now is it depends on how much land we can secure for it, but that is going to be a project that everybody's been asking for a while. Widening the 86th, widening the 86th from 145th to 161st actually has three components. There's the bridge, the intersection, and then the roadway. The bridge and the intersection are under design currently. The roadway will follow after they move further along in the project. And 2025 street rehab projects, locations were just approved by council recently, so those are in design now. And then the 117th sanitary sewer line is being replaced like the Elm Creek because of age and condition. We have secured the necessary easements for this, so we hope to get this project under construction around February. The widening 169 from 66th to 86th Street, I'm sure everyone in the room knows that that is an ODOT project. It's not a city project, but everyone is very curious about it. So what we know so far is that they look to award the bid in early 2025. Hopefully construction on it will start in the summer, and that construction project should be about 12 months long. 2032, by the way. 2032 is the answer to the question that right now every single person has in their head in this room. 2032, so they're telling us. So all of those, the ODOT project not included, obviously, but all of these represent, these are projects that are already approved and are underway. They represent a total investment of $115 million in today's dollars. So give it a couple of years before you get to construction, figure out what that's going to run us in. That is a big commitment by city council, and you know, it is something that every single person who lives, resides, visits, drives on our roads should appreciate. Future needs. So here are just some things that we're kind of looking at. There are challenges in front of us. When to get to them, we're not really sure. But right now, the first thing we're looking at is renovation of the youth sports facilities. The current condition of the sports facilities is having a negative impact on Owasso's youth sports leagues, but it's also causing many of our local businesses to lose revenue because we're losing tournaments to some of our surrounding communities. We're already looking at this, trying to figure out the depth of the problem and coming up with some potential solutions. So this one is really kind of already on our radar. Old Central, for those of you who don't know, Old Central is where it's where City Council is held, it's where Planning Commission meets, it's where we hold municipal court, it's where we hold youth court. It was a temporary solution for this community 20 years ago. Take that for what it's worth, but right now we're actually staring at about $500,000 worth of roof repair. So this one is a little bit higher on our list of projects, future projects. Okay, so construction of the new community center and then renovation of the current one into a senior center. City broke ground in 1977 on this building when the population of Owasso was about 4,500 people. Okay, we're operating in the exact same building with a population of more than 42,000 people. They literally are bursting at the seams, and our seniors are desiring their own building. We're actually considering proposing building a community center on another location, and then go ahead and just readapting this one as a senior center. These are the future road projects that have been recommended by the city's transportation master plan. I won't read them all, given how many there are, but I will say, just looking at all of them, just remember this. Right now, in today's dollars, intersections are running us about $6 million each, and widening 1 mile section of roadway is running us about 15. Those are today's dollars. Seeing where we are today, I thought it would be interesting to look back, and I picked 20 years to seem like a logical time span. So during our research, staff found a document that I believe was kind of relative to our conversation today, and I want to read just a very small part of it to you. It's actually the script from the 2004 State of the City. On this, our 100th anniversary, our city is prepared, moving forward, and well-positioned for a bright future. I believe the majority of Owasso residents feel we are moving in the right direction. They are optimistic and reflect a great spirit of energy and enthusiasm. Our citizens feel good, love our community, and are proud they live in a city that works. Great cities recognize their history and know that they stand on the shoulders of the hundreds of people who, over time, took action, both large and small, that created the foundation upon which we build today. So what is the state of Owasso on December 11th, 2024? State of the city is strong, and we do stand well positioned to accomplish so very, very much more. Your city council and your city staff have worked diligently to accomplish operational goals as well as complete infrastructure and quality of life projects. We've maintained a budget reserve that's healthy enough to cover reasonable downturns in revenue caused by economic conditions or weather-related events. Financially, our revenue continues to trend upward. Along with funding city operations, our sales and use tax revenue has allowed us to provide pay increases to staff and fund critical projects like replacing our 911 dispatch software and our outdoor warning system. In terms of accountability, the city received another unmodified opinion from the auditors for the 2024 fiscal year. The lack of findings indicates the city's financial statements are accurate and fairly represent the city's stewardship of the resources you provide. For the 8th year in a row, the Finance Department has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting awarded by the GFOA for fiscal transparency. Your tax dollars are well managed and they are well accounted for. The community is safe. Owasso's crime rates are among the lowest in the state, and our response times to fire and medical emergencies have improved dramatically with increased staffing and the opening of Fire Station Number 4. Our police officers and firefighter paramedics are well trained, and thanks to the support of City Council, Owasso has one of the most comprehensive and modern set of training facilities in Oklahoma. This level of investment in public safety pays off in better job performance, better job safety, and greater success in recruiting the best people. In 2023, the police department responded to over 30,000 calls for service, investigated more than 1,200 criminal cases, made 900 arrests, and participated in joint operations with other local, state, and federal agencies for violent crimes and crimes against children. The 911 dispatch center dispatched more than 60,000 calls for service. Since 2012, the city has experienced a 30% drop in the overall crime rate. Burglaries have dropped 60%, larcenies have dropped 17%. Increased staffing and proactive policing were critical factors in achieving that success. Your fire department provides fire protection and advanced life support ambulance service to approximately 60,000 people. They are one of only 2 fire departments in Oklahoma licensed to provide paramedic level ambulance service, and the only department where all of the sworn firefighter positions are also paramedics. The department's response district extends far beyond the 16 square miles of the city limits. The ambulance district covers 80 square miles, actually going from Highway 75 out west to Keatonville Hill and the Ridge Line to the east. The department is on track to respond to more than 7,200 calls for service this year. The average response time is 4 minutes and 46 seconds to calls inside the city limits. This is well below the national standard of 6 minutes. In Owasso, the survival rate for out-of-hospital cardiac arrest patients is 29%. The national average is 10%. The quality of life in Owasso continues to rise through the daily efforts of our staff in public works, recreation and culture, and community development, along with the work of our community volunteers coordinated through the city's Strong Neighborhoods program. The city maintains 335 lane miles and the adjacent right-of-way. Last year, we processed more than 1.2 billion gallons of wastewater and provided 1.1 billion gallons of domestic water. Residential refuse is collected weekly, regardless of the weather. And residents can now drop off their recyclables 24 hours a day. Recently, the city received the Green Government Award from the Metropolitan Environmental Trust in recognition of our 24-hour recycle center expansion, our household collection and recycling event, and our efforts with the Keep Owasso Clean program. City-sponsored events like Lawn and Garden Spring Fling, Red, White, and Boom, Harvest Festival, Veterans Appreciation Week, Lights on Owasso, and the Christmas Parade create opportunities for our community to come together. Our city parks provide 264 acres for this community to exercise, socialize, or both. Our community center promotes and facilitates quality of life activities that contribute to the well-being of our citizens. You can participate in aerobics, Tai Chi, art classes for adults, art classes for children, cooking classes for adults, cooking classes for children, social activities like billiards, bridge club, writers club. There is a number of things, opportunities for you. And these are opportunities for all ages. On average, our community center serves 135 people every day. Baylor Ranch Golf Course. Baylor Ranch is one of the premier municipal courses in the state of Oklahoma. Improvements to the course in 2024 included drainage and irrigation projects, as well as the construction of restrooms on the back 9. That was really appreciated. Improvements to the course over the last few years included switching the greens to Bermuda grass. All of these have truly enhanced the playing experience, which is evidenced by the 40,000 rounds of golf that have been played at the course since January 1st of this year. Though much has been done, there is still much to do to meet the needs of a growing and very changing community. The need for citizen engagement cannot be overstated. Shortly after I came to Owasso, I was interviewed by the Owasso Reporter, and I remember being asked, what about Owasso interested you? And my response was, well, I talked about the well-planned growth and how much potential still existed. This was in 2006. The well-planned growth and how much potential existed in 2006. So your community development team is responsible for city planning, inspections and permitting, and code enforcement. So if we look at talking about how much potential still exists, since January 1st, 920 permits have been issued for new projects involving commercial development, residential development, and individual trades. So if I reflect back on that interview, I do remember the reporter asking me me at the end of it, and it's unfortunate because I really liked it. It didn't end up in the article. What do you think about Owasso so far? So she asked, what do you think about Owasso so far? And I kind of gave this is Owasso, it just doesn't get any better than this, right? So that was then. Well, Dr. Calvin Jameson once said, Dr. Calvin Jameson was a former city manager, he's now an active mission, once said, for a city to thrive, you need three things. It must be safe, it must be clean, and you must have good schools. And I don't think there's anybody in this room who believes anything different, that we absolutely excel at all three of those things, without question. We appreciate the strong partnership that we have with the Owasso Public Schools. Both entities understand the importance of working together, and all for the good of our community. And once again, cooperation and collaboration seem to be the key. And I can't mention cooperation and collaboration without mentioning our efforts to strengthen our relationship with the Cherokee Nation. We appreciate their willingness to sit down with us to discuss the future, and we look forward to working with them to identify projects that may be mutually beneficial. While Owasso is, without a doubt, without question, an incredible community, moving forward, we cannot afford to rest on our achievements. Meeting Owasso's future needs is going to require each one of us in this room to be invested and to be engaged. It's not going to happen naturally. It's not going to happen any other way. So, when I said, when I said in the interview, thinking back, it just doesn't get any better than this, I was actually wrong. It did get better than that. It got a lot better than that, as a matter of fact. And in 20 years from now, I expect that people will look back to where we are today compared to where they are, and they will actually say the exact same thing. They'll say, it did get better than that. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to be here today. And on behalf of your city council, on behalf of your city staff, please have a very safe and joyous holiday season. So thank you.